a lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat your and I'm gonna beat Jaden on Love. On my mama, I'm gonna beat both of y'all ass. On my mama. And he laughing. He laughing.
Our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
You know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you gotta know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You gotta understand their DNA, you know. And we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like we all don't do that.
Gervonta Davis expressed frustration over Jake Paul training with Shakur Stevenson before their upcoming bout. Davis stated that Jake is free to prepare however he wants, but it won't change the outcome. He emphasized that once they're in the ring, he plans to prove his strength and dominate. In Davis's view, all the sparring or prep work Jake is doing now won't matter when it's time to actually fight.
Now, don't worry about it. I don't gotta set up here. Let anything happen, and I'ma show you and him that.
It begs the question, Tank.
Boxing experts have pointed out the irony in the backlash surrounding the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight. While many fans and critics argue that Tank's opponent choice goes against the ideals of traditional boxing, others stand to gain from the spotlight, whether for promotion or personal reasons. Shakur Stevenson addressed this contradiction, stating that even though Tank's move might upset boxing purists, he's still open to training with Jake Paul to keep the sport relevant and stay part of the ongoing conversation. This situation highlights the complicated balance between business interests, individual branding, and fan expectations in today's boxing world.
Criticism for fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So, do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul.
Commentators have suggested that Gervonta Davis's recent fight decisions appear to be guided more by financial incentives than by a desire to cement his legacy in the sport. His upcoming bout with Jake Paul has sparked debate, with many seeing it as a move focused on maximizing profit rather than pursuing elite competition. Critics note that if fans want to see Davis take on high-caliber opponents like Shakur Stevenson or Lamont Roach, promoters, such as Turk in this case, would likely need to offer payouts comparable to blockbuster matchups like Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. At this point in his career, Davis seems to be prioritizing big paydays over legacy-building challenges in the ring.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another 40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Roach for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, Give me that Canelo money, man.
Shakur Stevenson, widely regarded as one of boxing's top talents, didn't hide his disappointment after Gervonta Tank Davis chose to fight Jake Paul instead of stepping into the ring with him. Stevenson suggested that Tank's decision could be interpreted as an attempt to avoid real competition, something many view as a disservice to the sport. He stressed that true champions embrace tough matchups, and opting for a crossover fight rather than facing a top-tier professional like himself sends the wrong message. His remarks have intensified the ongoing discussion about whether financial motivations are starting to outweigh competitive integrity in modern boxing.
What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. So I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Gervonta Tank. Davis reacted strongly to fan accusations that he's avoiding top-tier opponents like Shakur Stevenson. Dismissing the criticism, he stated that public opinion doesn't sway him, pointing out how quickly fans can turn on a fighter after just one off night. Davis made it clear that his priorities lie in pursuing his own career goals, not trying to please every critic. His response highlights a no-nonsense mindset, one that favors personal focus and strategic control over yielding to outside pressure or public demand.
Gervonta, a lot of boxing fans aren't happy with the fact you've taken this fight rather than the Rhodes rematch, fights with the likes of Shakur, Devin Haney, Teofimo, etc. What do you make of that reaction? And can we still expect to see those fights?
Why should I care what they think? When y'all switch somebody can have a bad day and y'all switching on who y'all favorite fighter is or who this person is supposed to fight. Like y'all need to sit back and be fans and just enjoy the sport. Like y'all even talk about people's personal lives. Like why when it come to that?
Michael Jai White shared his perspective on the ongoing conversation, asserting that no matter the buzz or performance, Jake Paul shouldn't be seen as a legitimate boxing champion. He drew a clear line between crossover events or exhibition bouts and officially sanctioned title fights recognized by major boxing organizations. White's remarks echo the broader views of many within the boxing community, who view Paul's matches more as entertainment spectacles than true tests of elite boxing skill, further fueling doubts about the legitimacy of such matchups.
Do you think that Jake Paul could win a legitimate boxing title?
No, no, because he's so far behind someone of his equal age who's been doing it for a very long time. He started very late. That's why I applaud exactly what he's doing. I think he should be doing exactly what he's doing. If he fought a legitimate, top 10 cruiserweight, I will shut the up. If he's able to fight an actual contender of the top 10, that would be astonishing if he can get to that point. If he beat anybody in the top 10, that would be, to me, the greatest thing he's ever accomplished.
Yeah, because historically he's fought old men.
I think he's done it the right way, because there's a possibility where a 50-year-old Anderson Silva might be able to beat him. Who thought he was going to beat Tyson? I really thought, oh, Tyson's just going to go to the body and just punish his body, because I thought that that's what would win him thing, but he did not do that. I think it makes for a good matchup. He's made for...
Daniel Cormier, former champion and respected commentator, voiced his disapproval of the upcoming bout between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis, calling it dull and lacking real entertainment value. Cormier pointed out that Tank isn't in a position where he needs to chase paychecks, and suggested the matchup falls short of the competitive standard expected at this point in his career. By labeling it as uninspiring, Cormier cast doubt on the fight's true purpose, suggesting it's more about generating online buzz and curiosity than contributing meaningfully to the sport of boxing.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why he's taking this fight.
He's been a world champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why? And how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's a thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.
Commentator Showbiz the Adult noted that, despite the unusual nature of the matchup, the sheer public interest will likely drive huge viewership numbers. Tank Davis's recent hints at possibly stepping away from boxing have sparked uncertainty among fans about whether the fight will actually take place. Meanwhile, the ongoing back and forth between Tank and Shakur Stevenson on platforms like X, formerly Twitter, has only intensified speculation, with both fighters trading jabs and questioning each other's skills. This mix of online drama and fight hype adds another layer of unpredictability, blurring the lines between sport and spectacle.
Do we think the fight is ridiculous between you and Jake Paul? Yes. Are we gonna watch it? Yeah. Do we like it? Maybe. And let me tell you why it's maybe, why it's not no, why it's not yes. It's maybe because many of us, we just don't believe it. We just don't believe the fight is real. We know it's an exhibition, but we just don't believe that you two are going to try to take each other's heads off. Other than that, it's kind of interesting. You have a 5'5" lightweight versus a heavyweight Jake Paul, who's really not a boxer with an amateur background and all that shit, but he's been knocking people out. It's kind of interesting if we knew y'all would try to knock each other's head off. And we don't know that because Mike Tyson did knock out Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather rocked Logan Paul and then kept him standing. That shit, we getting tired of that shit, right? We need confidence. Are you guys going to try to knock each other's heads off? Jake Paul, when you swing at Tank, are you going to try to hit him and knock that little man over the top rope into the damn fifth aisle? Are you going to try to hit him and make his ass evaporate? Or Tank, are you going to show the world that Jake Paul should not be in the square circle with a real boy? Are you going to try to knock his ass out, sleep him, drop him like you did Ryan Garcia, stop him the way you did Mario Barrios, knock him out like you did Leo Santa Cruz? Are we going to get a viral knockout? Are y'all going to try to stop each other?
Top professional boxer Teofimo Lopez weighed in on the fight, characterizing it more as an entertainment event than a serious sporting contest. Lopez highlighted the difference between classic championship bouts and crossover matchups, describing the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight as a spectacle designed to engage fans rather than settle who's the best in boxing. His viewpoint reflects a broader feeling that some recent fights focus more on showmanship and media buzz than on pure athletic competition.
Great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun, it makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about, you know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count? Yeah. We need to see you and Tank though. Has to happen. It has to happen, you and Tank.
We'll see, man. It's up to the champ. He's the champ, right? He's fighting. He's a celebrity champ. Ooh.
Former world champion Tim Bradley shed light on the personal and professional pressures Gervonta Tank Davis faces behind the scenes. He encouraged critics to take into account the mental and physical challenges fighters endure before passing judgment. Bradley pointed out that Tank has recently dealt with significant obstacles, and ongoing scrutiny from fans, media, and commentators only adds to the strain. This viewpoint reminds us that fighters carry a heavy burden, and a more compassionate understanding of their situations can lead to fairer and more respectful conversations about their decisions.
A Tank, you know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you gotta know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You gotta understand their DNA. you know, and we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like we all don't do that. We don't do our research. You know, you got to know about somebody's history. So like, if you understand where Tank came from, if you understand his background, then you understand how he thinks and why he feels the way he feels. You know, you do. So, I mean, for instance, like his parents, right? His parents were drug addicts, in and out of the system, in and out of jail. You know, he lived with his grandmother. You know, like, you got to understand when he started boxing, why he started boxing. Understand that, you know, that what the influence that Calvin has had on his life, and how if their relationship isn't great, how that affects him. And this is not making any excuses, people. This isn't. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just giving you what I think, and I'm giving you the facts surrounding all of this. You know, I remember back in 2012, you know, I'm living right. I'm living civil. I'm taking care of my business. I feel like I'm doing everything right.
Analysts have been discussing the broader effects of the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight on boxing as a sport. While the matchup is undeniably lucrative and draws significant attention, many argue it doesn't do much to enhance boxing's credibility. Jake Paul's approach of picking well-known opponents with noticeable differences in size and skill generates buzz but also risks weakening traditional standards of competition. Critics say that although the fight attracts viewers, it could undermine the professionalism that longtime fans and purists expect, fueling ongoing debate about its true impact. Experts highlight that Paul's opponent choices are strategic, designed to maximize interest and media coverage. The considerable weight gap between Paul and Tank adds to the spectacle, raising questions about how Tank will adapt and whether Paul can defy expectations. This deliberate method guarantees high viewership and engagement, showcasing the business-minded side of Paul's career and emphasizing how entertainment often drives today's boxing promotions.
Why are you not fighting guys your own fucking size? Look at this, John. This is embarrassing. And not to mention, Georgia already said, no, you can't have this fight here. So they moved it somewhere else. Dave, do you know where they moved the fight? Can you look it up? This is embarrassing. Look, he actually put his hands on his knees and he was still the same height, maybe a little bit taller than Gervonta Davis. I mean, I'm all in on Gervonta. I want Gervonta to win this fight. I want him to. I mean, I'm not saying he can knock him out, but I think if he hits him to the body a couple times, John, he may be able to catch him. A lazy jab or something, you know, he might be able to pop him to the body and get him good. I'm hoping. Jake Paul down with a body shot.
Oh man.
Oh geez.
Could you imagine?
I would. It'd be great.
It's a win right there.
It'd be great.
Commentators noted that during the face-off, Gervonta Tank Davis looked noticeably smaller compared to Jake Paul, a contrast some found surprising and even a bit awkward. However, analysts stress that Tank's ring skills, speed, and experience far surpass Paul's abilities. His agility, accuracy, and technical expertise firmly establish him as the favored fighter. This serves as a reminder that visual impressions can be misleading, and ultimately, it's Tank's performance inside the ring, not brief moments from promotional events, that will determine the fight's outcome.
And I think that the one thing that Jake Paul is really going to have to try to figure out in this fight is, how do I catch this little son of a bitch? Because he's fast. And, you know, Gervonta, I would, you know, I'm not telling Gervonta Davis to, you know, cut down and weight like he normally does. Just get in shape. Whatever you weigh, you weigh. Don't try to add weight. There's not enough time for you to add good weight that's not going to make you tighter or anything like that. So just come in at your normal, walk around, good weight. You've been training hard. Whatever it is, because they've said 195 is the max that.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.